Yeah, technical delay. Hold on. There we go. Jesus Christ, don't do that. What is he trying to do? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Flooring Models live show. We've got a small gremlins in the work this evening, unfortunately. Nathan can't get on. He's still trying as we speak. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get Nathan on tonight. But if he does appear in, obviously we can get him in and sorted. So it looks like us. Unfortunately, you've only got us two tonight. I have got Andy all queued up though, down on here. So here he is. So if you've got any questions for Andy, we can just sort of say, either, or whichever way you want to go. I had this queued up. But actually, it turns out he's doing a lot better than we thought. So here's Andy, look. From his hospital bed, literally around about, 10 minutes ago?
10 minutes ago.
We were just speaking to Andy.
Yeah.
He's absolutely fine. He's pulled through. He's still obviously in a bit of discomfort and all the rest of it. He's now a lot lighter. Obviously a kidney lighter. But hopefully he's fully on the mend now. On good recovery, and we'll hopefully get him home soon in the near future. But he's sending all his love. He obviously thank you for all the get wells and all the usual bits and pieces. But yes, that's literally from his hospital bed, looking cool as he put it, one way. And so yes, he's there. He's absolutely fine and doing very, very well. But big thank you to everybody who was sending messages and the very things like that. It was all very much appreciated. So,
hey, Nathan's arrived.
Oh, Nathan's in. Right, now I've got to reset all this. Hold on.
2 minutes late, not bad.
There he goes. He's here. That's all right. We'll let you off. It's good. What was wrong with it?
I've no idea. I've just installed Skype on the new laptop. I don't know what's happened with the old one, but it's not happy this afternoon.
Fair enough. Good
Yeah.
job. I haven't had chance to move all the cameras around, so I might have to do it on the fly during the show because normally we set them up beforehand. So apologies for that. Anyway, we trust you're all doing very well. Everyone's in live chat and doing all okay. It's all right. Nathan's all right. We'll move all the cameras on the fly as we need them. It'll be okay. I'll sort everybody up in a moment. But yes, no, Andy's doing a lot better. But as I say, thank you for all the well wishes. I know we've got a thread running in the site and messages obviously I've had sent to me from non-members. I've passed them on to Andy as well, and he's doing great. So as I say, hopefully he'll be home within the next day or two and can start his recovery properly from there. So good job. How are we doing this evening, gentlemen? We all okay?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, we're all right, thank you.
Very nice.
Yep.
You're all right, Nate? Because we haven't had a chance to speak before the show.
I just spent the last 20 minutes wrestling with Skype.
It's fine. You're okay. Hold on, look, I can get John sorted. I'll just get Matt queued in a little bit more. Hold on, we'll be all right here. My OCD will not allow it. There it is.
It's going to bug me the rest of the evening while Skype's not working.
Oh, yeah, well, that's just Skype through and through, though, isn't it? Because Skype does that thing where it's like,
it's mad, isn't it?
It
night,
updates itself up weekly.
Yeah.
So yes, all good stuff. Anyway, we'll kick off the show with a public announcement because clearly we mentioned it yesterday, but we'll do it again today.
I'll come to chat in a minute as well.
That's it. So don't forget, we have got the Halloween auction. 7:30 on Sunday night. And we've got the usual terms and conditions all down in here. It's pretty much the standard ones. But today your contact is Nathan, because obviously Andy's obviously not with us at the moment. So Nathan's going to be taking any pre-bids you may have. So we will bid on your behalf. If you want to get to Nathan really, really quickly, if you just click here on his name, with the power, you can go along and then you can either message, which is definitely the preferred one, but you could do email, but definitely message him on here. So literally just click there and then you can put your pre-bid directly into Nathan just like that. Okay, that's probably the quickest way of doing it. So that'll get you straight over to his profile and you can just click him directly a message of how much you would like to bid. These are done in certain categories as well. So this is John's kits to start with. So you see we've got these kits down in here. And obviously John will be posting them from the People's Republic of Somerset. So obviously anybody with web feet who lives there, they'll be sending them from that area. So that's all good. No problem at all. Matt obviously is up in Doncaster. Enough said. So he'll be sending his kits direct from there. And as I say, got some really nice stuff in those ones as well. Some very, very nice stuff just down in here. And again, it's a bit of a mixture with Matt of his personal stash and a couple of reviews as well in there as well, and things like that. But as I say, it has been marked on here for the X review samples and various things. And I know Matt will talk you through the intricacies of them as well, won't you, Matt?
Yes, I will.
So yes, so that's
Fully explained.
all those down in there. We've got Nathan's as well. So look, Desert Babe, everyone, just saying. I've got some lightnings and more lightnings. We've got a Dornier, very nice as well. And then you've got mine. So I'm down in Devon, so we have like, I don't know, hooved feet or something down in this part of the world. So again, these are all X review samples that I've got in as well. So as I say, we've got the Panther there, we've got the Fokker, we've got the Star Trek Voyager, we've got the Minerva. And then obviously we've got that F5 as well, which is the AFE club as well. So if you fancy any of these ones and you're not going to be around on Sunday night, we can bid for you. Or you might be around and want us to do pre-bids already for you and take the hassle out. Then obviously if you can message Nathan with your lot number. So say you wanted to do this very, very sought after Lotus. You could say lot 29 and I would like to bid £1,000. And what we will do is we'll start the bidding at a reasonable price, of normally very cheap anyway, like a £5, and we will bid on your behalf up to your top bid. So obviously if you said £1,000, we just send you the kit. But obviously if it went for something like up to 35 quid, obviously you would get it for 36 quid. You know, because obviously the last bid would have been there, so you would have been the top bid, and that's how it works. So again, so we will bid in increments up to your top bid. So if you get outbid, obviously you can then carry on bidding live if you wanted to, but that's how it works. So I know most of you have seen us do the auctions before. It is supposed to be a little bit of fun, so obviously you can join us for the evening, grab yourself some drinks, some snacks, various bits and pieces, and you can just sit down, kick off the shoes and join us for a bit of evening's worth of fun as we work our way through all the auctions. But again, very nice one there, nice set there if you want to do a Buccaneer with all the goodies. So lots of stuff down in there and some interesting lots as well. So that's the usual thing. So that's actually going to be on Sunday night starting at 7 o'clock, not 7:30, 7 o'clock on that one. Full details are down in here and it gives you an idea about postage, pre-bids and how it's all going to work down in here as well. So that's how that one will be. Cool job.
Very good. Well done.
Good. Is that okay, boss? Is that good?
That'll do.
Seamless.
And then we'll recap it. Hey, we'll recap it at 5 to 9 so they don't forget.
Well, because it's a seamless segue in this, obviously because this is YouTube, I will be putting the advert up every 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, we forgot the adverts.
Get
them adverts on.
I'll have to get the adverts on for this. I'll find them in a minute whilst we're talking and I'll cue them up for this.
Yeah. We've spoke for far too long without an advert ruining
clearly
it.
We need an ad break already. So anyway, tonight's competition, I'm obsessed now. Competition. Tonight's chat is literally all about social media, obviously how it has enhanced the hobby and bringing us all together and things like that. Obviously talking about YouTube and obviously videos and various things, and obviously the bits that I do and you guys at home do as well as, you know, as me. And obviously the fors and againsts and everything else like that. So kick us off, Matt. I'll find what we was talking about.
All right, okay, yeah. So basically, right, because we're running out of topics, I thought I'd suggest YouTube and obviously the pros and cons of YouTube. Because obviously Phil's been out making videos for millennia.
20 years.
And me and Nathan are quite new to this, aren't we? Let's be honest. And we were working out like the intricacies of actually the process of making a YouTube video.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually how difficult it's turned out to be. All right, obviously I've got a backup of I have somebody who does my editing for me when he's fully fit and functioning, so that takes that stress out of it, which it can be time consuming. But it's just from me, and what I've learned is obviously camera angles,
Yes.
sound quality,
Yes.
is the two main ones.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I needed your help when you came up the other week to actually set the camera up properly, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just to...
Yeah.
And lighting, obviously, yeah, lighting's a massive one as well. You can never forget lighting. But I do think people kind of forget the process of actually making a video, of how long it actually takes. You warned me when I said to you I won't mind doing one. This was a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it took a long time to, obviously, for me to probably get a bit of confidence and that I could do it. But you did say for every half an hour you're doing about 2 hours filming or something, was it?
Yeah.
And then another 2 hours editing?
Yeah, I call it 1 in 3. If you do an hour on your desk, you'll spend probably 3 hours editing it, and then obviously, you know, doing the bits and pieces and getting it up onto YouTube. It takes roughly 3 hours for every hour you do. So if you sit here for an hour, then it's 3 hours upstairs, as I call it. So technically it's 4 hours. So,
well,
yeah.
My phone's going to light up a minute with Andy swearing and saying it takes him a lot longer, because obviously, like Phil and Nathan, they kind of know what they've recorded.
Yes, which does make it a lot easier when you know what you've got.
Yeah, and obviously I just give my footage to Andy, who has to watch it time and time again. I'm sure when he's back on, he'll tell you to obviously work out what's going to be cut, what's going in, and you know, trying to string it all together. But I mean, do you still enjoy the process? Do you still enjoy doing it?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I must admit, it was one of those things. Of all the things that I do as a whole, business side and all the rest of it, the actual editing is probably one of the nicest bits, and the filming bits. You know, like I've often said, the trouble I have is, like, you know, it's that thing of many hats. You know, you sit here and everyone thinks all he does is sit here is make models all day. You know, where the reality is it's probably only 5% of my time is making models with all the other stuff that goes on. But that's the bit I still love and enjoy and going through. But I do have to say, from a point of view of having an editor who does it for you, that's quite hard, because I must admit, if I'm working on a model and I'm sat here doing it, it's really bad for me if perhaps I've got really ahead. So I must admit, I know we spoke about this earlier, with the Vulcan, I was about 3 weeks in front of you guys. I finished it like a month before you guys saw it. And then I had so much in editing, so I've got literally gigabytes, around about 80 gigabytes of video, but I couldn't remember what I'd done. So it was almost like being the first time. So I had to watch it all through and then remind myself of, right, okay, yeah, we did that, then we did that, got it. And then obviously from my point of view as well, I'm not just running one camera. I'm running 3 cameras, 4 if you include the bay as well, in the spray booth. So there's actually normally 3 camera feeds running all the time, sometimes 4, and then 3 audio feeds as well. So if I'm in different areas, different sound, and you have to blend them over so it sounds like it's all the same. So again, if you can't remember what you did, it's really difficult. It's easy when you've just shot it half hour before, because you remember what you've just done. So you know your editing's almost very fluid, because you remember what you said, you remembered how you showed it, so you can almost preempt it in the editing. So I can, as I'm hearing the edit go through, I'm normally about 10 minutes ahead queuing bits up, and then I chop it all up into the various bits and what camera angles are on where and all the rest of it. And then I sort of, as we're watching it, I'm like, drag it a bit and go back, and you go forward and you hear it, and that merges well. And like we were saying about your head being in the way, you know, getting the camera angle that actually shows your head not being in the way as well, and doing it. And then obviously you've got your rough edit right the way through. And then I tend to go back, and then post-editing, as I call it, after that is the second pass. And that's the bit where I might zoom in a bit. So I'll zoom the camera digitally in editing, nothing to do with manual, it's all in the editing. So I can actually zoom it and move it away or where it needs to be, so it's more in focus as well. And also you can do things like you can sharpen the focus, you can change the color. So to be honest, if you'd seen the rescribing one, I was a bit naughty on that, because the rescribing video I've just done, I didn't do the total posting job on it of redoing the colors and everything, because my cameras were struggling on black surface, because it never likes working on one. That's why the mattes work quite well, because the grid effect, it makes the cameras easier to focus. But with that one, I didn't go back and edit it 20 times to get it all the cameras set up properly. So in some ways that's a bit of a cop out on my part, but it does save you hours of having to go back and change them all. And again, your sound, if you hear me normally, like probably on this feed, because it's not an edited feed, I sound different to what I do on the edited one, if you know what I mean, because like again, I changed my voice, give myself more of a husky voice, but it's not just that. Is that a lot of you used to mention when I changed over to the new mic, every time I touched the table, you would hear it like dum dum dum, and that's because the microphone and the sensitivities and the sound was really picking up all the deep sounds. So again, you go into editing and you change the sounds to cut out certain noises and low bangs and rumbles. But it used to be the thing, every time I touched the desk and I was doing this, to people at home it was like dum 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 dum, and it's finding it and going back and changing it and taking it all out to make the experience watchable, as we call it, right the way through. So again, it's one of those ones that in some ways it's almost like you're playing a game, because you've got to fix all these problems it goes through, and it works great, and it's usually really, really nice until you get the blue screen of death where your computer runs out of memory normally or something else like that, and you're locks up and you haven't saved any of it. And at that point you can throw it all out the window and give up and go and work in Tesco's, you know, because it'll be so much easier, you know, to do something like that than doing this type of stuff, especially when you're doing it at Christ knows what time o'clock at night as well, because you need it for tomorrow. So that's the only downside to it. But generally, I must admit, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's one of those areas where it's as much as me doing the building work, is the editing and everything else is all the same. I'd probably get bored if it was just building and no cameras, you know, because many a time when I do my prop stuff, which I don't film so much, and I was working on Boba Fett's blaster, and I've done that now and all the rest of it, but I didn't film any of it. But then I feel guilty because I didn't film any of it. And you feel like I should have videoed that, because that came out really well. We did the metal effects and all the rest of it, but because I didn't video any of it, doesn't matter. So yes,
Yeah.
It's funny how it sort of plays with you sometimes.
What about you, Nave? Do you enjoy it?
I think what I was doing, I've not done a video in ages, have I?
No.
I was wrestling with a computer that's not working tonight. I was wrestling with a very old computer. 2000 computer. Yeah. So when I was doing filming, I filmed it on my phone, and then I'd have to upload it and overdub the audio.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was just a complete sort of time eating sort of process of editing it down, voiceover. So what I have done, I've got a new laptop, so I'm going to have another crack at it, but I'm keeping it quite simple in terms of it. I don't know if I can pull this in. I can't.
You can see it. You can see it. Yeah.
All that there. I've now got a laptop that's going to be capable of recording 2 webcams simultaneously. And I think what I'm going to do is go back to the more traditional way of doing it, of building and talking at the same time, because try and cut a corner there. But hopefully with this a little bit of a more up-to-date computer, I can do it. I mean, I'm not using any special software. I'm just using iMovie, which is the free one with the Apple Mac. But yeah, I mean, it's for me, I'm not looking to build a channel or, you know, all that. I'm not getting into that side of it. I'm just, the videos that I've done is because I've had something to say. Usually it's someone panning a kit saying it's unbuildable, and that's the story behind, you know, the tornado kit. People, oh, you can't build that, it's terrible. And says, hang on a minute, if you do it like this. That was the genesis of my channel, was the tornado build. And then someone else came out, and 6 months later, and hammered Airfix's Spitfire, saying there's gaps, you can't build it. So again, I did a video, you can build it without a gap. So that's what my channel's there for, is me just to go, hang on a minute,
to prove the naysayers wrong.
And it is, yeah.
You know, that's one of the downsides of YouTube, isn't it? That a kit can be slaughtered and it spreads, and that reputation is still, there are still people who come to shows and tell me, well, you can't build the Revell Tornado, it's terrible. I'm like, you can.
Yeah. And again, I think that's the thing as well. If you're going to be doing, you know, with videos and stuff like that, you have a responsibility, as I've always said, is to show the goods with the bad. You know, like I've often said, everyone says about like the reviews I've done and obviously the builds I do. What I've always tried to do is do as impartially as you possibly can. So sometimes it's difficult because you have a really nice kit that you can't really find a fault with. And saying that, and I'm looking at it now, when I did the Mosquito, which I've still got to find a home for. But when I did this lump, you might remember I did the review of it about 6 months before I built it. And when I did the review with it, I said that it's a lovely kit, it's a beautiful kit and fantastic, but God, it's got ejector pins all over it. And you would think that Tamiya, with all of their money and resources and how good they are and all the rest of it, can actually think of a way of putting together a kit like this without ejector pins in the stupidest of places and all over it. And that many of them. When you look at companies as well as then, Wingnut Wings could bring out huge model wings in one with not an ejector pin on them. How comes couldn't? I got absolutely hammered on social media for saying that. Because people are like, oh yeah, but it's this, that and the other. And it was like, but the thing is, I did say it was a perfect kit. It's a beautiful kit. It's never going to be a problem going together. And it wasn't. And it's gorgeous in every detail. It just, to me, it seemed to be one of the things with Tamiya is they do like their ejector pins for getting stuff out of molds. So, you know, and I know they're complex shapes, but if you look at other manufacturers who obviously done more clever engineering, shall we say, to get round it. So yeah, I got absolutely hammered. And then recently, because obviously I've said about Tamiya haven't sort of invented anything. There's nothing been new over the last few years. It's just been standard kit, standard kit, standard kit after the other. You get absolutely hammered with it. But it's obviously, it's just that Tamiya, in my expectations, because they're one of the leading companies, I call them AAA, you'd expect them to move it forward slightly. But you get obviously, you know, the fanboys and, you know, the people who love this type of thing, and it's like their company that they swear by, they don't like it being spoken about. But I think that's the trouble. People pick up on the negative side. Even though you've given it all positives, 99% of the reviews positive, you 1%, that's what you get hit on.
But that's the point I'm about to make. Don't you think there's too much clickbait?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's always, hold on, and it's always negative and not positive.
Yes. Because again, that's what the clickbait and what works, isn't it? If you put on a snappy title and a dodgy photo, it gets everybody into it. And that's the trouble really with social media as a whole though, isn't it? From a, you know, a statement being made or something else, it's to, you know, people say, well, I do it to get people talking.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but that's starting off on the wrong foot, isn't it?
I think from the YouTube creator side, which people might not appreciate until they've done it, it's like it's built to get you uploading videos all the time. You keep getting all these little prompts. They have the YouTube creator website, and it's always nudging you to do another video and then another one and another one, because it gives you the sort of viewer figures, doesn't it, and all the algorithms. So I think YouTube is a little bit to blame for that people are being sort of nudged to constantly put stuff up and drive their subscribers and viewers and retention up. I think that's why sometimes people are putting videos up when they've got nothing really to say, and they're just bandwagoning.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's like, you know, if you did a video once a week and uploaded it, and I did a video once a week, and say John did a video once a week and all that lot, all you're feeding is their pocket, not your own pocket. And I think people are a bit sort of blinded by, I'm going to make a living by doing YouTube and be a YouTuber and all this, that and the other. And the realism of it is very, very few people get to that level to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I think if you take a step back, it's like Nathan did it on the Tornado to prove a point. It can be built, and again with the Spitfire, again, you know, I kind of do it for PM models, if I'm honest. I use kind of the stuff that we sell in the shop, so I'm using it as an advertisement. But also, I enjoy it because from a forum point of view, I am terrible at build threads. I'm awful. I'll start them and they'll die a death because I'll go on to something else, or it kind of keeps me focused to do a proper build thread. But I'd rather do it as a video because I can probably explain it better than I can write it any day of the week, which obviously says a lot about my writing and spelling, if you know what I mean. But that's the way I look at it, and I actually quite enjoy it. I actually enjoy it, and I think if you do enjoy it, then, you know, if you're doing it just because you want to make a living off it, but you're not enjoying it, and it's I can't see the point. I mean, John's just sat there; he's not said a lot. So you're obviously will never make a video because you just don't want to, do you?
That's basically. I'll just say this as well. Obviously, from our point of three, it's because we do videos and we produce content. But John is a viewer, and you do watch a lot of channels out there. Yeah, I have to say, it's probably a lot of people know me know, I don't actually watch YouTube videos like that. Well, not those things anyway, not modelling, because I do it all day long. If I was watching that, I'd never get anything done. So, and that's the thing. So I don't actually watch other YouTube channels. I never have done, because again, I don't like to be led. So, but John does. So how do you feel about it, John? How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I've absolutely no inclination to do videos whatsoever. My interest is modelling, not the filming, not the editing. I don't get a massive amount of spare time, so I'd like to spend that just doing the modelling and not all the paraphernalia that goes with YouTubing. I do watch YouTube because I've got the computer screen there, so while I'm modelling, I'll stick YouTube on and just watch. But there's very few channels that I do watch, but I like to think the selection I've got are the really good ones, because there is an awful lot of dross out there. Everyone thinks it's easy to do, and like Matt says, think they can make a quick buck out of it or get your 5 minutes of fame out of it, but it's very difficult to do it and do it well.
Yeah.
You've got to have a certain, I think, charisma to be able to come across well, which I haven't got. That's another reason why I wouldn't do it. Either that, or you've got to be a very, very good modeler. Well, I mean, we were talking beforehand. There's a couple of like Japanese channels I follow that Matt told me about, and obviously you can't understand anything, but just watching the guys build and create what they do, it's unbelievable. Certainly a standard that I could get nowhere near.
Yeah, sorry, got an advert.
Yes, you can have it in quick. Hey, oh, there it is.
This is the best Hamlet ever. I'd play this in
If they had adverts like this, though, you'd watch it.
Yeah, you would.
I use this in my marketing lessons. Love this one.
We're going to get a copyright strike for that.
We
What?
probably, of course we are, but it'd be worth it.
Oh, it will, because it's just a brill advert, isn't it? Look. Yeah. Why don't they make adverts funny anymore?
I don't know. This is the whole point, though, isn't it?
Some of them used to be brilliant, didn't they? Yeah. Never gets
Anyway,
old, that.
that's the
But no,
point,
going
though.
back. Sorry, mate. Going back to like, because I watch YouTube modelling videos. I know film, but like John was saying, I watch the ones I can probably learn something from.
Yeah.
And that's what, there's certain ones, we're not going to name them, obviously, whatever on here, but, there's a lot of techniques that I've picked up from watching YouTube videos, I'll be perfectly honest, and and I think that's a good way of learning, and I think that's the massive plus side of it, of the sharing of, different techniques and different ways of doing stuff, and which before you're never going to learn in a magazine. Were you? Let's be honest. If somebody shows you how to do something physically, like on a camera, or you're stood next to them, you're going to pick it up quicker than trying to learn it from a book, I think. So that's, to me, the revolution of YouTube videos, if you want to call it. I know people now are on Patreon and all different other formats that there is, but YouTube's become like that general name for making a video now, like your own video, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But obviously there are other platforms out there you can do it. But I think, as a learning platform, it's immense for everything and anything. It's just you've got to get through a lot of stuff to figure out the good ones.
Yeah, that's it.
There's an art form, definite art form to it. I mean, you can just, who wants to sit there and watch someone build a kit from start to finish, every single bit along the way? You've got to know
Yeah. 30
what,
part
you,
build.
what you need to show, what's going to get the interest and what's not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Because
Yeah.
I just want to chuck something to chat, right? So obviously, I presume that most of them watch YouTube. If you know, do you prefer like the 20-minute videos where they just open the box and then build it, or do you prefer like the series sort of video where it's, you know, over a course of say 5 videos? Because this is like the YouTube generation, as Phil always says, isn't it? You know, 10-minute attention span and.
Sorry, advert.
Oh, sorry, mate.
It's the old TikTok generation. Another Hamlin. I don't know what's. Watch this one in my glasses as well.
Happiness.
I can't remember ever seeing that one.
Oh dear.
Put like a smoking message.
To be honest, I haven't seen that one for absolutely ages, and I saw it in the list. I was like, that one's brilliant. I haven't seen that one for years. Right, okay, so 20 minutes. Series depends on the presenter.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fair point.
Mhm.
That's what John was saying, isn't it? There's a way to get a message across. And that's the hard bit of editing, actually.
Right, then so what? Peter, hold on. Peter's just put he finds them a bit boring. So why do you find them boring? You know, let's just, you know, we'll just pick that way.
Peter do? Sorry, I do apologise. This is how ignorant I am, and I do apologise. Does Peter do video builds? I thought Peter just did unboxings, wasn't it?
No, he just does the boxings, don't you, Pete? I think so. That's why I don't do the video builds. He's just put.
Oh right.
Yeah, he finds the video builds boring, so that's one reason he don't do them. So 'cause
right.
obviously he's got a channel, ain't you? So.
Like Peter's Matchbox videos.
He does boxings and history, right?
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong, so there's nothing wrong with having a review channel, because again, many people.
You know, I'll tell you why I'm asking as well is because obviously you lot watch us every week and we go on for an hour and a half on Thursday, don't we? You know, and then if we're on, sometimes it's even longer. So again, if you're looking at this YouTube generation thing, we should be on for like 10 minutes and then we're done.
Yes.
Everybody's bored and buggered off.
Are we doing a TikTok next Thursday then?
TikTok.
Yeah, I think we should start doing TikTok. Yeah.
I'm just going to clap and then that's it, I'm off. Done. Whatever to do. I'll do that in it.
Yeah.
That's
the one,
review
isn't it?
video. As
I suppose that actually Tony's just put a point up. He says it's like interactive. So yeah, I suppose it's because we have the chat on, so we can. Yeah, I suppose it's a bit different. Do you know what I mean?
But it's funny because everyone says about quick videos, but when I did the poll a few months back, even I think it was last year, wasn't it? I did a poll and said, would you prefer to have the videos more streamlined and more edited in, so like we could do a full build in like an hour? And then it was like something like 90% came back and said, no, keep them as they are. You know, and I don't do, as you probably realise, I don't do every single bit of a build. I'm not one of these that sits, because otherwise each video would be like 40 to 50 hours long, and clearly it's not, because obviously that makes them 25 parts if you're doing them as half hours, things like that. So consequently, that's why I always try and keep them around about a 10-parter. I wouldn't stretch them out for the sake of it, so some of my videos are shorter, but my goal is always to do them in around about 5 hours. A video, if you like, a watchable video, even if it took 70 hours to put it together. That's how I try and do it. But it's funny because people in there saying about, you know, you want them shorter. When I asked, and because I was actually all up for doing shorter videos, because I wouldn't have to do as much, you know, as in editing and all that type of thing. And everyone was like, no, keep them as they are. It was like, you know, right, okay, well, we'll keep them as they are. So unless everyone's changed their mind now and it's boring now, so they're like, get on with it.
I watched a video of a person cutting parts off a sprue, and I'm like, all the parts being cut, and I was just like, what is this for? It was just literally a cutter going in, and then for like 5 minutes it was just bits being cut off a sprue, and it's like, oh.
Was that one of them ASMR videos, was it, where it's supposed to
it didn't have that calming, relaxing effect, and rather than fast forward the video, I just gave up on it, I thought. And the other one, my pet hate on YouTube, is people that won't speak on them, and it's all subtitled. Can't be doing.
I suppose if they're not an English-speaking person, I can see it from that point of view, because obviously if they're not comfortable, because you know, if we had to do it in Spanish or something, it'd be an absolute.
Because the only one I've actually properly watched is like
speaking
Plasmo.
in Spanish. Then have
Yeah.
the music on, because it's always that YouTube copyright-free music, isn't it? That just, I don't know.
Oi, don't not copyright free music. You might need it one day.
Yeah, that's it. But no, the thing is, the only one I've ever watched, occasionally I sort of see his ones, is Plasmo's ones. And obviously, what's nice from, I say it sounds weird, but I've seen him develop his YouTube presence, if you like, from the early days to how he is now. And obviously with the way he has his camera in front of him, which is something I could never do because obviously I run multiple cameras anyway. But if you're having a one and done camera, and with his, because obviously he does the voiceover for it, he's incredibly well polished, the presentation and the editing and all the rest of it. And his angles are always very good, and it's always, good stuff as well. So, that's one thing. But then to see somebody who's got, a dodgy camera angle, head in the way, no, but you know what I mean, and things like that in there, it's one of those things where, again, if you can't see what they're going on and they're just waffling or something, it's trying to keep your videos to those lengths where you've got enough information going through and you're talking your way through your actual build without it just turning into, well, I might go down the pub on Friday night and I've got to do this, and the football was good on Thursday, or whatever it was, because people aren't really interested in that. So, it's that. I tend to talk as much as I think you need to, and there's a wise man once told me, always remember to keep your mouth shut. Only talk when you have to, So that's what I try and do with my sort of ones as well. And my style is always to be, literally as if you were stood here watching me model and I'm just explaining what I'm doing. That's always what I've always done. I've never tried to preach anything to anybody, and I've never told anybody how you have to do it. I've often said there's 10 different ways of doing it. This is my one, and it's a bit like we talk about tools and equipment and everything else. Like we've often said, everybody has their personal choices through airbrushes, paint selections, glue selections, kits even, but I'm just showing onto it. This is my canvas. It just happens to be plastic that I'm working with, and each one of my videos as well, I try and cover something different to show a different technique, a different way of doing it, or something else. Obviously it's repeated now over the last 20 years, but still every now and again I go back, and like we were saying about it, working on the sub at the moment, coming to a couple of little headaches with it, and I've gone back to using filler. Isn't really working that well, and I did it on here as well and it's worked beautifully, and I was using super glue and talc, which is a video of that went up the other day, and it's one of those, you forget how good some of the old techniques are, so it's quite nice to go back and show them in different ways, and it's not just the latest and greatest product, you do forget actually how some of the old techniques do work. We're striving for something new, aren't we? And really, you're always looking for that the next best thing, and then sometimes the old things are actually really work very, very well. Like I just did the super glue and talc thing for the canopy on this, and it absolutely worked a treat and came out better than I could have hoped for with anything else I've got here. And yet it's an old school technique, and I thought I'll always show it. I haven't done it for a while.
But Nathan's hit a thing earlier on about the algorithms of YouTube, ain't you? And I know if I built a Tiger 1 tank or a Measurement 109. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would get good views on it.
Yeah.
Because of what it is, because it would come up, you know. But then,
a Pembroke, no views at all.
No, and now obviously I did with that little Bedford QL truck, to be honest, and the figure's not got massive views either. But I ain't quite put like SS whatever it's supposed to, the actual title of the figure, because I'm not going to put that up. But if I did, that would probably get more hits than it's probably got.
Yeah.
Because that's an algorithm thing, and people are looking for, whatever they look for. But do you know what I mean?
That's the nature of the beast, though, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Again, it's like feeding the animal, in it, I suppose.
But again, also you're back to that thing about
anyway. And subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Hold on, need an advert. Hold on.
What's this?
an F1 team.
Happiness is a cigar called
Bloody annoying adverts. Right, anyway.
Hey, in fact, let's get on to adverts.
Yes.
My pet hate at the minute is adverts.
Oh,
The
mid-rolls.
advert's on, let me explain it as well. Where literally you get an advert when you first start the video, yeah? It says, I'm now going to just whatever, and you're not even 10 seconds in, and then there's another advert. And then you're probably 2 minutes in, and there's more adverts. Stop doing it. Put one at the beginning and one at the end. Don't put any more in. It's annoying.
Yeah. That's again. Yeah, there is the option to monetize or not to monetize, isn't there?
I know why people do it. Don't get me wrong, but geez, it's annoying.
I'll tell you what's funny though. Obviously, we spoke about this before, but obviously people think you're going to get rich from YouTube, and obviously I put up roughly around about 8 videos a week onto YouTube. I've done it since YouTube started back in 2007 or whenever they first started. And all the rest of it. So we've got quite a few millions and millions of views being gone through and all the rest of it. But honestly, the money you get from it is peanuts. It always has been. I know people say about, a few years ago they changed all the algorithms and the advertising and all the rest of it, and kids advertising and all those things came in. You will never get rich from advertising. And again, this is one of the things. I got slated because I think a lot of people didn't know who I was anyway with YouTube, and we went onto YouTube after a few years of it being going, because to start with you could only do a 10-minute video and that's no good to us. So, but from 1999 until 2000, I think of 9, is it? We had our own server that we were paying for, and it's costing us, back in the day this was £650 a month for the bandwidth for it and all the rest of it. It's really, really expensive. And then we had the site. It's cost us around about £1,000 a month to run the forum. Bearing in mind, we only had like 1,000 members back then as well. So it was the thing, it didn't actually make any money for 5 years of doing it. And then obviously it made some money, and obviously we got more subscribers and everything. And sort of off we went. But then when we went to YouTube, everyone was doing that thing about, oh, well, he charges money. Oh, I can't pay. I wouldn't pay that. I can get it all for free. And I got absolutely slated. And to be honest, that's half the reason why I turned off the comments on all our videos, because instead of getting constructive criticism, or you'd get people sort of giving you a bit of an ego boost in how great you are and all the rest of it, which does it does work and stuff, that all you were getting is like, oh, I get all this for free, why would I bloody pay for it, and all the rest of it. And it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough, but I'm doing this as a full-time job. It's not like my secondary job and I don't pay tax on it and all the rest of it, because clearly I do, and then obviously now though, the world's slightly shifted a bit, so everybody's now doing Patreon, or they've got YouTube membership things, because you can pay for that as well now, whatever they call it, for that version. There's a couple of other ones, fans only, which is our other sideline.
Discord, isn't there?
Discord and all the rest of it.
OnlyFans one.
That's it, where
Well,
you
again,
can
I'm not
pay.
Don't subscribe to that one.
I'm not being funny, but somebody's put up about PewDiePie and somebody else, yeah?
Yeah.
But they do gaming and stuff. I'm not being funny. We do modelling. It's quite a niche hobby.
Yeah, that's
very,
the thing.
very niche.
And that is the problem with it. I think people forget, all right, if you're gaming or you're doing your Ferraris or whatever else you're doing, yachts, I don't know, stuff that's a bit more, I'd not say accessible, that's what the word I'm looking for, but have a bit wider interest, perhaps you could make a living from it. If you're a pretty lady,
Yeah, of course you could.
Bridget digs for whatever it was, or is she still doing
Digging
it?
with Bridget. I don't know, I haven't watched it for a while, but I used to be a fan.
But do you know what I mean? It's, again, that's clickbait, but...
How dare you?
I've seen them. Oh, it's definitely... anyway, it's like and subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget to like this video.
Hey, mash that like button, or whatever they call it.
Yes.
The people that make the money out of it are the ones with like hundreds and thousands of subscribers, isn't it?
Yeah.
If not millions.
Yeah.
And modelling, you're just not going to get that, because like Matt said, it's such a niche subject.
I think there's maybe one or two YouTube channels out there that are making a living for the person doing them.
I think, to be honest, if you can, yeah, that's it. If you've got Patreon base for you, or like we've got, obviously with the Flory Models family and things like that, without it, we wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that, So from that point of view, don't get me wrong, it's a nice thing, but I'm not trying to distance myself from YouTube, but I built the Flory Model site for its members. It's had nothing to do with YouTube. The only reason we're on YouTube is because it's free, and it saves me roughly around about, well, probably now about £1,200 a month from having to have our own server and streaming off our own server. So from that point of view, it's why wouldn't you use it? And it acts as an advert for us as well. So, and you can get Volvic water.
Sugar-free Volvic water. There you go.
Advert.
Advert. Oh, you need some then driving gloves, Phil.
Definitely.
I tell you what, I bet John's got some in his post van. And if not, you're going to get some for Christmas.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so obviously, you know, from our point of view, you know, everybody's trying to make money out of this, and everybody's chucking up obviously a lot of adverts, and they're putting in adverts, and it is really annoying. It's not just modelling ones; it's other stuff as well.
Yeah, no, it's everything.
You know, so from that point of view, it's just one of those areas where you're trying to get it. But you know, how much realistically are you going to make? You know, for all those adverts you're chucking in which wind everybody up, you know, you say if you have one at the beginning, one at the end, that's fine. But the bit if you're putting them in every 3 or 4 minutes throughout your entire video to get them to, you know, to sort of, you know, you're not going to gain any friends from that, and you're really not going to make any money. You might make, what, a couple of £100 a month if you're lucky, you know. But even from our point of view, with all the videos we've got, and some of them are monetized, some of them aren't, and all the various things to it, I'm still lucky if we make £150 a month, you know. And there's, I can't remember how many videos we've got out there now, but it's thousands, absolutely 7,000 or 8,000 videos we've got out there now, and all of them are half-an-hour videos, so it's not like 10-minute clickbaity things. You know, they're the ones that make the money. If you've got long videos of anything over 20 minutes up there, they're the ones that tend to make the money as well. So, you know, it's one of those things, you know, if you annoy your customer almost, if that's how you're seeing them, because if you're advertising, you know, you're trying to make money, that's technically your customer. It's no longer you're doing it as I'm doing it to show, because you're trying to make money out of it, you know, so you're going to alienate your customer base.
Mm-hmm. Having said all that, though, the hobby without YouTube wouldn't be the hobby it is.
No.
I think it's probably had as bigger impact on the hobby as 3D printing will. Because if 3D printing's the story of the next 10 years, I think the story of the last 10 years has been YouTube, hasn't it?
And
Very
obviously
democratized it. It's got rid of the gatekeepers of the hobby, which used to be the magazines.
Yeah.
AK, Verlinden, you know, those companies were the only ones putting out tutorials, weren't they? It has democratized it, but it has brought, you know, with every good video, there's 100 you've got to watch. But I watch about 4 YouTube channels. Definitely learn a lot from some of them.
And it's, I mean, all we've been talking about is modelling channels, but it's a great source for reference material.
Yeah,
and inspiration as well.
What, especially Japanese F4 Phantom.
Yeah, thank you for it.
These two outside of being Japanese every night.
It's just because me and John just happen to have a partial for Japanese aircraft, modern.
Yeah,
I was about to say, see all that stash behind John? That will soon be replaced by.
He's going to get rid of all the Russian stuff. We're going Japanese.
Which I never knew I had up to about 2 weeks ago.
Here's a good make inspiration from like non-modelling YouTube is definitely something you get your ideas from, isn't it?
I think everybody ought to get into hoof trimming, Phil?
Yes, we like the hoof trimming one as well. That's good. That's very
hoof trimming.
Yeah, that's something you could watch. Get a manky foot and he fixes them, and see the smile on that cow's face afterwards. It's well worth it.
As it hobbles out the crush.
Bless it.
Oh dear. But again, you know, like say, take away the modelling side of videos. I also kind of watch it sounds daft, but because I've been figure painting, portrait painting, and you know, fine art, if you want to call it, because obviously everything's had a start somewhere, and you know, you can always pick up techniques from how they do stuff, especially like painting flesh tones and stuff like that, and the colours they use it mainly. There's loads of stuff in there. I don't know. It has been revolutionary, I suppose. And like Phil was saying, when he first started, how much did it cost you to have your setup and put videos up and all that?
Yeah, it used to cost us roughly. It was like £620 just to with the actual. If you look at it from a server point of view, and you have to pay for the bandwidth as well. So I know everyone takes the mick out of like the jumpers and all the rest of it, but a lot of it was the quality of the videos. It was only 320 pixels. Because that's literally, if you were doing that for a 30-minute video, it was so many megabytes, and then obviously you had 500 people download it, that you were paying for your bandwidth and all the rest of it. So in some ways, you know, as often as we say with YouTube and the rest of it, it is that thing. They need to make the money to store all of these millions of videos somewhere. So they need to get back cash. So no one's going to ever sort of have a go at them for trying to, you know, for them making a buck from it. But yeah, if you look at it like we were saying before, from a camera point of view of buying a simple digital camera back in the day, able to take photos, you know, forget, because there was no audio, it was just using the camera at that point and the various bits and pieces, and then just doing the upload to the videos to the server, which was a private company, and doing it like that, it was horrendously expensive. Now, as we said, you can do it off your phone. You know,
say these things now, the cameras on these
absolutely. This camera on here is probably as good as any of them. You know?
Say that one is as well. This one's amazing. The camera on here, and like you do make your videos off your phone, don't you, Dave?
Yeah. So this can do 4K 60 frames per second if I need it to.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing to it. Nowadays, anybody literally with a camera phone can just do it. They can edit it on their phone as well, if for all intents and purposes, upload it, and away they go. It's not like, you know, forgetting all the crap around me here. It's one of those things now. It's opened it up to anybody. Whereas before, when I first started this back in 1999, we put the first videos onto the server, and it was one of those things. It was really complicated. One of the worst things was it used to, because obviously it was dial-up back then, it used to take around about 8 to 10 hours to put up a 30-minute video in that resolution. And if it dropped out, you'd have to start again. So, you know, that's how bad it used to be. And the reason I could only do one video a day is because that's all you could ever upload. Because, you know, you'd keep looking across and it's like 97%. And you're like, oh, Jesus, please. Because if it's ever going to drop out, it'll be now. And then people used to say, because they used to go up at 5 o'clock. And it used to be, no video, no. You know, you have to wait another 9 hours for it to do it. You know, so it used to be absolutely pulling teeth. You will never know how lucky you guys are now to have things like YouTube, which, you know, take them straight up and do all the processing for you and all things like that as well. Where obviously in the early days, you used to have to do the processing yourself. The format you put it up is what it downloaded it in. So you used to have to be very careful of what the bit rate was and all the rest of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, what's Itchy Boots?
Who?
Itchy Boots on YouTube. What is that?
I don't know what that is.
They're on about it in chat. I'm really curious now to know what Itchy Boots is about. Oh, quick! Somebody tell me what it's about.
I'm just putting it on now.
It's
Itchy Boots.
Itchy Boots, apparently.
Seasons of it.
What's that then? Gonna party like it's 1999 or something? What? A woman motorcyclist.
It would have to be a young female motorcyclist by the looks of it as well.
Oh yes, it looks like it's a young female motorcyclist. Yes.
All right.
Well.
She gets good views.
I bet.
She has 200,000 people watching her a week.
And that's going to be on your thingy now.
That's it.
Search when you fire up YouTube, you can have all that on.
But again, that's the trouble we're up against as modelers. Where, you know, as I say, we're in a very niche genre that most people probably wouldn't want to watch somebody else make a model kit. If you're not into anything to do with aviation or plastic models, you're never going to watch it. Yeah, if you're not into motorbiking, I'd watch it, even if I hated motorbikes. You know?
Hey, I've got a question. Lego builders, do they get good views? People building Lego?
Yeah, you got the Brick Vault and all the rest of it. They've got millions of subscribers.
Right.
because I
And
watch them.
Warhammer does better than us as well.
They do a lot of time lapse, clearly. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you know, but yeah,
What about the train guys?
yeah, they have big YouTube channels as well. All the train guys and the RC
I know,
people.
obviously, I follow a lot of the gaming guys. You know, like the tabletop gaming, because of obviously painting them, and some of them are massive. But obviously, that kind of genre or whatever it is huge. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I was just thinking about Lego. I just thought about it because that's construction in a way, isn't it? So
Yes.
well, it is. So I suppose Lego covers all aspects. I suppose, does it? Do you know what I mean? Age groups as well, because kids will watch, like little kids will watch somebody put Lego together. Because I know Lydia used to. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things with YouTube. I have a massively love-hate relationship with YouTube, full stop. I love it because it's free and it saves me a fortune and it's very simple to use. It's simple to upload to. It's simple just to grab the links. We're using YouTube right now to stream this, and it is literally a couple of clicks and away you go. You don't need much in the way of equipment if you're doing it normally. This takes a little bit more, clearly, but generally that's the nice thing to it. It's almost like click and play, that's the nice thing to it. The thing I hate about it though is, one, a lot of the users, just being honest, because again, obviously I said before, if you put your head above the parapet and you have an opinion, there's going to be a lot of people out there who'd love to have a go at you for every single reason. And I had it even this morning. I woke up to a particularly nasty email telling me what they thought of me and all the rest of it, which everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Just
keep
it. Just keep it.
Yeah,
Hey, just keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. I don't need to be the first thing I wake up to in the morning because it sort of sets you up nicely for the day. But it's part of what you do. If you're going to be doing videos and you're going to have to take the good with the bad. We've often said I've always said that if you are a YouTuber and you get like negative stuff and all the rest of it, it's the silent majority. Nobody will ever tell you you're doing well. Trust me. Everybody will tell you if you're doing crap, and everybody will spot any mistake you make and will take great glee in telling you you've done it wrong. That's part of it. But at the end of the day, you have to almost say that if you've got, 10 dislikes, but that video has been watched by 10,000 people, you do have to put it into context. If there's only 10 people found a problem with it, then, you've done very, very well. So I really won't worry about it. And we said before, the other one I know the guy was talking about now, retention. As far as I'm concerned, I'm more worried about retention on videos than I am about people who watch it, like it or dislike it. To me, those three are useless anyway, but the retention. So as long as I'm striving for a 50% retention rate, so 50% of people from the beginning of that video to the end are still watching it, you've done really, really well. Happy with that. If you're down into sort of 40s, you might want to start editing a bit and tweaking it, perhaps shorten it to keep the retention there. If you're below that and you're into 30%, clearly you're doing something quite wrong because no one's really watching it, especially towards the end. So I always try and strive for a 50%. If I get 70% retention or higher, it's like happy Christmas. Clearly I must be talking to somebody on here that people like, because it ain't me. But that's the point to it. It's finding that retention, and that's the same. It's your retention, from my point of view, is the most important score about everything you're doing if you're doing videos. If people are watching you, they're clearly enjoying it, and they're going to watch you to the end. And that's the nice thing to it. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good job.
Right, so we'll do some questions.
Questions? Oh, I was going to watch Itchy Boots.
You're going to watch it? All right, then we'll watch Itchy Boots if you want.
We can. Chris has come up with a very good subject. Yes, but probably not for this show, but I will paraphrase it a little bit. He says, good evening, gents. Regarding a theme, basically he's talking about, I think, a really good subject be a relationship between scale and subject matter. For example, the Harrier and 144 to 1/18 scale. Various things. It probably is a good subject, so what we'll do is we'll steal it and use it for another show. So we can go about that.
Can we just say next week's going to be a bit different, isn't it?
Yes. Next week's a bit different, but yeah.
We'll tell them that at the end. We'll do that at the end.
Yeah.
Just after the adverts.
and the auction.
Yes. Graham says, hi guys, I hope Andy is doing well. He is. I'm sure he's watching us.
He is.
Have you heard in the past on here about the tube? Hold on the tube about Eddard and the Bunny Club. How does it work? Are over trees worth buying? Now somebody else has answered him down in here, which is Chris, has done a fantastic answer, so you can keep up with that one down in there. But basically we were saying Bunny Club is that thing where if you buy direct from Eddard, you automatically get put into the Bunny Club, don't you?
Yeah, I think you do.
Buy a special kit.
They do limited edition special kits. I don't know, Nate, put your hand in front of the camera, you're a bit blurry.
I think it's the bandwidth that's doing it.
Is it? No, I think your bandwidth's alright. I think you've just gone blurry. It's not like you've gone 8-bit. It's just it's not focused on you, that's all. On your chiselled features.
If I can switch camera.
No, Christ, don't touch it. It's taken us long enough to get you on. But yeah, so the Bunny Club normally works is if you buy a kit direct from Eddard. That's it, that fixed it.
That's better.
Perfect. So you automatically then entered as a lifetime member in the Bunny Club, and they do specific, a bit like the Airfix Club as well, where you do one-offs, Bunny Club only versions of. So they do MIGs, don't they, John? You all know this.
Yeah.
Didn't they do like MiG 21 special Bunny MIGs and things like that?
They've done a MiG 15, I think, haven't they? A MiG 21, Bunny Club one. I think they do things like T-shirts and stuff like that as well, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the kit came with a T-shirt, and it wasn't cheap. It was pretty keenly priced, the qualifying kit. But once you bought that kit, you're in for life, I think.
I owned a Bunny Club MiG 21 once.
Yeah. But the Overtrees are definitely worth getting.
Yes.
That's a good idea, I think, the Overtrees.
If the postage from the Czech Republic doesn't wipe out any savings you're going to make. That's the only caveat.
Or your kits get crushed.
Just saying.
That was awful. A poor kit. It's absolutely smashed to bits.
It was
Yeah.
smashed.
Again, I think it's one of those things. It's definitely worth it if you're going to use it, like everything in this world. I think if you're going to buy Eddard, then yeah, because you can do the Overtrees for them. They do specialist marking ones and all the rest of it. And you get a discount as well, isn't it, with the Bunny Club? So yeah, I think it's one of those things. If you're going to make use of it, then it's probably worth doing it. If you're not massively an Eddard builder, then probably not. Sebastian says, hi team, I'm working on the Tamiya bike. I wanted to know the best way to remove the rubber tyre seams. I was watching the Ducati build, but I didn't see anything on that since it looks like the tyres didn't have a centre seam. I don't think they did on that one. Can I use regular sanders? If yes, can I polish the rubber back looking like new? For your information, I can't use something like a Dremel because he hasn't got one. Oh, who's gone?
Hey-o.
John had enough,
John?
is he?
John's had an early bath. He's off.
Everything's going wrong.
God almighty. Anyway, when he comes back, I'll flick us over again. So he's had enough. Anyway, so yes, tyre seams. Some of them have them, some of them don't. I don't think that one I did on my... Oh, is he back? Hold on, he's back. He's here again.
It's
Move
just
seats
started
now.
absolutely hammering it down outside.
I must admit, it was pretty bad here a minute ago. So anyway, what you can do, there's a couple of tricks to doing it. One is to put the tyre in the freezer overnight, then take it out and sand it really quickly. That's an old school trick to get rid of seam lines because the plastic or the rubber goes quite brittle. And you can sand it and you can polish it just like it. So that's actually quite a good way. If not, if you go back and look at my video I did, I think it's quite an old one now, but the Formula 1 cars, the Tamiya, that's got a seam line in it. So what I tend to do is like you have your sanding stick, stick it down and you're just working your way around it and you're just going to rub it off. And then as for polishing it, there's a couple of options. You can try and polish it, but you can use a little bit of heat if you're careful, because you can physically sort of melt the surface a bit and take it off. But it was pointed out to me though, and quite correctly, tyres have seam lines anyway.
Do you know what I was going to say? If he's building a brand new bike,
yeah,
tyres have seam lines.
Do you know, and that is the thing that I was sort of, somebody said to me about a bike, we were talking about a bike, and it's like, well, they have seam lines anyway. You know, so if you're doing a new bike and doing it nice and glossy on the stand and all the rest of it, if it's a Tamiya one especially, then you could just leave it in there because it would be on it anyway. It does take a few miles to get rid of them. So you could do something like that. But normally it's that thing about just working your way through the grits. Start off with a sort of medium grit and then you just go into the polishing ones and go through it like that.
Yeah.
So, yes. Matt says, I'm new to this, so apologies for the question, which may be obvious to others. I'm using Tamiya paints to brush paint, and yesterday it occurred to me to add X20A into each Tamiya pot and then to thin the paint out rather than thinning. It out when I used it. I was thinning it out for when he uses it. So far, this has been a good solution. My question is, though, will it become problematic on the longer it is in there? Will it become unusable or in some way damage the actual paint itself? The only thing that it used to be, do you remember back in the day when people used to say you take your brand new pot of Tamiya and you thin it, you just fill it to the top with thinners, put the lid back on, wouldn't it? Shake it and it's airbrush ready. That used to be a standard thing everyone used to say. It was fine until you just needed to hand paint some on later. And you've got an over thinned bottle then to do it. So that was something people used to do back in the day, was always say that was basically a good ratio for Tamiya acrylics with using like X20A acrylic thinners into it. But to be honest, I think it's a little bit of a false advert because you're probably going to thin it maybe a little bit more or less than that mixture. But because you've already filled it up, you're now stuck because you can over thin it, but you can't thicken it. Because you've just done that to your entire lot of paint, unless you've got another bottle of it kicking around to actually be able to go through and do it. So I think it's a little bit of a false economy, and you're probably better off, you know, having one of these that Nathan's got me, little glass jars, especially because they're eco-friendly, and you can pop a bit in and thin it yourself and go for it like that. As for harming it, I wouldn't have thought so, would you, Matt?
No, it does thicken up over time, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially
You
with
know,
lacquer
that's the-
thinners in it.
Yeah, it does, because I've had it with some of mine that I've thinned in the bottle and it has thickened up and it obviously evaporates. So you've got to be wary of that. Like I'm with you, I don't bother. I mix it out of out the jars or whatever they come in and make my own ratios of thinning it. So, like you say, I do think if you do thin it in the jar, you're stuck with it like that until it thickens back up again.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only thing is, I did have one here the other day, and I can't remember what colour it was. If you do put lacquer thinners into Tamiya paints, it does go yellow on the top. Obviously, I assume the lacquer's having a reaction down in there. It doesn't affect the paint, because when you remix it, it's absolutely fine, even with whites. In fact, I think that's what it was, but I might have lobbed it. I had a bottle of white here or something else.
Yes, it does. I've done that.
And it's
yeah,
like a yellowy residue on the
I know what you mean.
surface.
Yeah.
I've got a few of them.
Yeah, and it looks like it's gone off. I think it's the lacquer thinners in it tends to do it more, though, isn't it? But I've mixed it up and it's been fine. It hasn't gone yellow. It's just that the thinners goes yellow on the top of it. So, yeah, I can't remember what I actually did with that bottle of paint. So I've lobbed it, unless it's that one. Yeah, I can show you with my sample. It proper looks like it. There you go.
Oh, God.
Guys,
Hey, mine don't go that bad.
Cool, I've never had one done that. Do that.
Perhaps
That's
it is my
gone-
sample.
That's gone rusty.
It's just on there. It's absolutely fine. Look, hold on. Oh, God. Hold on. I've just pulled out. No one speak. You'll deafen everyone. There you go.
a
Crikey,
bit
that was
orange,
close.
but that's like someone
Yeah,
needs
that's
to be
gone proper
hydrated.
rusty brown
Hold
colour.
on. Here we go.
Oh, that's got loud.
Sorry.
Isn't it time for an advert?
We've had complaints because we're apparently doing smoking. Don't forget, that's not pure white in here. This is one of my off colours, so I've mixed it with a little bit of buff, so that's why. But you see, once it mixes up, it's absolutely fine. It's not a worry. So, but yeah, that's why this has
We
got...
nearly dropped it.
Yeah, almost. But yeah, this is called Starship White. It's my off colour of white. But,
Have you got any alcohol adverts?
Yeah, I need to find some. I can't think of a funny company now who does alcohol ones.
What happened to what's her name who used to do? Was it Lorraine Chase? Did she used to do one for? Oh God, what was the martini?
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
I was watching one came up on my Facebook page the other day. Remember the old Hofmeister bear?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Follow the bear.
Follow the
Follow the
bear.
bear.
What about skull?
Oh, and skull. We're not drinking that again.
Yeah, put the Boddingtons advert on for the Manchester accent.
That's it. What was her name? You see the Bollingtons one.
Is it Melanie Sykes?
Melanie
Yeah,
Sykes. That was it, wasn't it?
she's
Yeah.
still on telly, isn't she?
Anyway,
That's a little bit of clickbait for the end of the video, isn't it?
yeah,
That was it.
that's
Ginzano.
Ginzano. That was it. That was him with what's his name? The actor, wasn't it?
Leonard Rossiter and
Leonard
Joan Collins.
Rossiter. Yes. Joan
I remember
Collins. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have to find that. But anyway, so that was Matt. So he was saying about his anxiety. No, you'll be absolutely fine. Even if it goes a funny colour, you just mix it up like I've just shown, and you'll be as good as gold with that one. No problem at all. Neil says, hi Phil and team, just like to thank you for the Sanders set that I purchased recently along with a full set of washes. They're a game changer to me. No problem. Quick question about lacquer paints. Which brand do you guys recommend suitable for both armour and aircraft? LP paints seem to be in short supply.
That they are. You're very correct.
Oh, are they? Right,
Oh
okay.
God, it's a nightmare getting them at the minute again. Yeah. Yes. Attacker,
Hataka?
pure lacquer, or if you want the sort of synthetic lacquer, is AK in it.
AK. Been spraying it today.
Real colour. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Very,
Does on
very
well.
nice.
And also you've got guns. They do.
Yeah.
And obviously the normal Tamiya XF range is a bit limited on aircraft colours. Lots of armour colours.
Yes.
But if you want thinking, probably Attacker or AK.
Yeah, because they spray the same. The big difference is the bottle. AK's got the advantage that the jars are the same as the Tamiya ones.
Yeah.
So if you've got paint rack or something, it'll fit. But then the Hattacker, they spray just as... They all spray the same, all three of them, don't they?
Definitely. Right, ad break.
He's found it, look.
Io Cinzano bianco, signora. Thank you.
Ah, yes, gracias.
Ah, due?
No. Mine was a Cinzano as well. Ah, now that's better. Oh, can't you just smell those Italian wines? Suffused with herbs and spices from four
continents.
Why, being boring. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Getting your head down, sweetie. Jolly good idea.
From the house of Cinzano Bianco.
See, look, if the adverts were like that now, it'd be so much better.
What smoking and drinking?
On planes, yeah, that's it. That would be the next one. Fagging it up in the plane. That was always a good idea.
Yeah, with a bottle of whiskey.
It's all right. We haven't been flagged yet. I don't know how I've got away with this so far, because normally I've had an email by now saying you've been flagged.
Because the adverts are so old.
Probably, yes.
Is it because they're adverts?
Can we have Charlie Says on?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you want to get up is the Berlitz German Coast Guard one.
The what?
Who?
It's Berlitz, the language company. The German Coast Guard advert, that's the best one.
Oh.
Okay.
There is a good Facebook
I'll
page
send
that
the
I
link in
follow
the thing.
called
I'll put it in the chat.
British Adverts of the 70s and 80s.
Do you know what? I've just pulled up one for rally chopper bikes from the 70s, but it's 12 minutes long. It's like, I can't sit through that. I thought that'd be a good one, but a bit long. Right, sorry, where were we? Questions. Right. So basically lacquer paints, like we recommend Hattacker clearly because we sell them in AK. I'm sure there are other inferior ones out there.
I'm sure there is.
Humbrel. So yes, good job. Anyway, Adam says, evening all, I recently got a new bottle of Future Pledge and I've used it to dip a couple of canopies. I've done this my usual way, as I have many times before, dipping the canopy, letting it dry for a couple of days, then masking it up for painting, except with the new bottle I've used, I'm struggling to get the marks, yellow masking tape, to stick to the canopy. Which hasn't happened to me before. Does anyone know of any ideas to whether the pledge formula has changed and how to remedy the situation? I've tested painting part of the frame and the paint sticks, but the brand new masks don't. Ooh, I don't know. Do you know what? I can't remember last time I dipped a canopy and tried to mask it.
No,
At least 10 years ago, I would have said that since it dipped. I wonder if it's got like a greasy. Got something greasy.
They keep changing the formula almost weekly at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The only thing I suggest, and as I say, I started doing it when I did the A10, the big 30-second one, is that I've stopped masking over future, because I used to find you get residue marks. So what I do now is I just paint your canopy as you normally would, and I might do it to this one to show. So it's all painted, unmask it, then dip it, and that's the way I've done all my canopies since then. So then what you do is you just come along with a little bit of satin finish by brush and just do the frame. And because it's a fine anyway, you can't really see it's more shiny than everyone else. You get crystal clarity and you haven't had to worry about masking over future. Because to me, every time I tried to mask over it, I used to get like tape marks and residue marks and things like that on the future. Then you try and wipe it off and then it's, yeah, it never ends well. So you might want to try it the other way round and do it that way. But as for have they changed it, I haven't used future for a long time, to be honest.
No.
Not for dipping, no.
No? Do you ever dip your canopy, John? John, is he froze? Or is he just, is he having a moment, or is he froze on us? I think he's froze.
God, the gremlins are in the system.
He's like, oh, Mr.
Today
Bond.
we are, yes, that's it. He's like a Bond villain. Hold on, I'll take a screenshot of that. There we go. I've screenshotted him, he's fine.
Blofeld stuck.
Yeah, Blofeld's all stuck. That's it. That'll be our thumbnail tomorrow, everyone, when you watch this back.
It will. Yeah.
Gremlins are in the system tonight.
He obviously can't even hear us. He's probably gone home. He's having a pint. Anyway, I'm also looking for the Hataka Redline acrylics for airbrushing. Has anyone used them? Could you give me an idea on how well they stack up against Vallejo and Model Air and Tamiya? Oh, he's gone.
I've used them a few times spraying. Again, you need a bit of flow improver because they do have a tendency to tip dry, but not being more thingy with... Oh, he's back again. Hello, mate.
I was just going to say I'm about to drop out because it sounds like I'm about to be hit by a tsunami.
He was washed away.
Yeah.
Temporarily. Sorry, go on, Matt. You're the expert on these.
I've not really used much Model A, to be honest, to compare it. So you're more of an expert with Model A than I am, so you used to use it a lot.
Yes. To be honest, though, I haven't used the red line, so I've only used the
well,
blue.
there you go.
Yeah.
Nathan?
I've never sprayed redline, and I think I've not sprayed acrylics in such a long time. Apart from extra acrylics, they're horrible.
I'm not even asking John. I know he ain't used them.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't give you a fair comparison between them and what they're like, because I haven't actually airbrushed the red line stuff. I've only ever done the blue.
No.
So, yes. Sorry on that one, Adam. I can't really answer. Have anybody in chat's got any ideas?
They're all on about
Apparently,
adverts.
Hataka Red is thick as molasses.
Hey, what about the pastels advert?
So what? Can you chew?
Yeah, I bet you can't put one in your mouth without chewing it.
We'll have these running during the auction between lots.
Yeah, well, that's what you got to do in between lots. Phil, you got to find vintage, funny adverts. That's
All right,
your
I'll
job.
give them a whirl. I'll see what I can do. Right, Bruce says, I hope you're going to be doing the Flory mugs this year. What is the latest? Also, do you have any plans for Flory merchandise in the near future? Enjoy the shows, but I don't know. Sorry, I don't how you manage to drive all the way to the PM store and back in one day. You must be a glutton for punishment. That's all right. Piece of cake. Hardened person like me behind the wheel, it's fine. Plus the fact it's on autopilot. The car does it itself. I just have to sit there.
Cruise control on and job done and steer it. like Mr. Bean driving.
Really straight.
That's it. That's why you dare give me a Tesla. I'll be like, all right, wake me up when we get there. But yes. Anyway, as for the Flory mugs, yes, they will be coming back. Have I got a spare one? Oh, here we go. There we go. We'll be out this year again, but we tend to do it. Traditionally, we do the pre-order for it the last week in November, and then I get them out to you the first week in December. So you're in time for Christmas. So I usually take a couple of days off because we do 380 last year, I think we did, of the mugs. So it'll be a limited edition one, and you'll probably all get a free badge with it as well this year. So anniversary badge. So that's the plan for that one. So that will come up. So this will be, wherever she is, I haven't got one free handy, will be the Sander one. So you can see Alex just back there.
Are you not going to have your anniversary on it then?
Well, I did think about putting it on, but because
Well,
it's the anniversary of the wash.
Well, why don't you do that?
Well, we could do. But we've done the wash one last year. I didn't think.
Yeah, but it's not got. Yeah, you didn't, did you?
I didn't think if I had done it the other way round, but I did it originally. We did the normal Flory Girl was the first one, and then obviously we did the wash one. You know, because obviously that was next in the line. The wash came along, and then I thought I'd do the Sanders because the Sanders were next. So that was the whole point. I was doing it in the way that it got released. Yeah. So in theory, I should have done the Sanders last year and done the 15th anniversary for the washes this year. But
how old are the Sanders?
I think got a few years to go before we started doing them. Because I was flogging somebody else's to start with. Until before we did our own.
Can't you make a date up?
Yeah, that's it. I'll have to go back and check. I can't remember because we used to be selling another companies. And with model bows, we used to flog theirs. And they're under licensing. We used to have their logo on everything. And then obviously we went on our own way. And yeah, that was it then. It all changed.
What's like a sheriff's badge?
I have to confess, I broke my mug the other day.
What, the special one with your name on?
Yeah, I know.
You animal.
Because you sent two. Lynn broke one of them not long after you sent them to us. So that's a paint. That's got me paintbrushes in now because the hand was missing. And then I had my other one that I used, but I knocked it off the table the other day and it smashed.
Glue it back together.
Yeah, that's it. You put that together. Not necessarily in the right order.
But I tell you, my coffee doesn't taste the same now.
Absolutely. Right, so that's it. But no, it will be out. As I say, I'll probably do the usual sort of pre-order for it. And I will get a couple of mock-ups done as we usually do for it. So to make sure we're happy for the internal colours and everything. Because this one's going to be yellow because it's a Sander one. So it goes with Alex's hair on there. So that's the plan. Yep. So we'll be good. Sorted. So yes, coming in. As for the other merchandise, hopefully we might be able to do something at the same time as the company who do it for us. So we'll sort something out.
Phil, just before you carry on, when we do the adverts, you've got to find the old Kinder Egg adverts.
Which one? Take your pick.
With the Yibo Shaky Kinder Egg Humpty Dumpty man, the weird one.
Oh yeah.
God, that'll get kids nightmares.
I was going to say that was proper terrifying. That was.
Hey? It was, yeah.
Another good one's the old Tango ones. You've been tangoed.
Oh, they got banned though, didn't they?
They did get banned.
People go around slapping people.
Right, okay. Advert time.
There, them look.
Yibo Shaky. Me unscrabbly.
Jesus,
like
you'd never eat a Kinder Egg after seeing that.
Chugga-dooby! Doubly chugga-dooby!
It's like something off the Goonies, but even worse.
I can say it reminds me of someone.
Oh my God. You shouldn't put videos like on just before bedtime.
Brilliant. Oh, that's freaking. That is frightening. You're right.
God Almighty! You're saying kids went off and bought it after that? You think they
why are Kinder Eggs illegal in the US?
Because they choke on the yellow bit in the middle. They have a habit of swallowing them over there. It's one of those things.
Double chock-a-doobie.
There you go. Jesus.
Anyway, carry on with the questions.
Sorry, where were we on the questions? So yeah, merch will be out. Hopefully I will get it all in time for Christmas and all the rest of it. So you'll be good. Chris says, get well, Andy. Question for Phil. Looking at your YouTube channel, the oldest video uploaded was March 2007. It was because that's how old YouTube is, kids. That's when YouTube started. YouTube started February. So I put a video up just to see what it was. Got a copyright strike on that as well.
Have you?
Yeah, funny enough, it was up there for like, I don't know, like 15 years or whatever it is. And literally, I think it was like last year or the year before, it got a copyright strike. And it was like, right, because I used Guns N' Roses music on it. And it's been up there all that time and never got a problem. So anyway,
right.
Is your channel the oldest modelling channel on YouTube? Do you know what? I wouldn't know. I'm sure somebody clever might be able to find out. But yes.
I bet it's the oldest one that's still running.
Yeah, perhaps it's the oldest one still going. Yeah, definitely.
You need to find out.
Because I think we actually hold on. I can somewhat check. Let me go back through me history on me. If I can find me channel thing. Here we go. If I go content and go back to the beginning. Yes, it was. So there we go. Yeah, it's actually got a copyright strike on it still, so it can't be monetized apparently because it's got a claim against it. But yes. So anyway, I probably started using it though. We made the big switch in February the 12th. February the 12th, 2009, and it was this one.
Oh, John's gone again.
Has he gone?
Yeah, he's gone again.
Look, when we were known as pro modelers, look.
13th of Feb.
Okay, so it's been
look at that sharp dude.
Every week, if I can.
Look at that,
shows
that's
and commissions and throw everything out the window, as you know. But I'm going to try and do this every week. And that way it's a good way to interact and all the rest of it. A few things going on on the forum
This
at
is
the
the
moment.
first ever vlog we did to camera.
Usual things. One that cropped up which really made me think
Was you
our old kits.
Was you nervous?
Kids and think they were great.
Probably.
And why are they still available?
It is easier doing just your hands, isn't
the
it?
one that I mentioned was
What, just waving your hands around?
Lancaster, which has got to be in the 70s now.
There you
Why
go.
did
I
anybody
had
do
to
it?
put things in there.
Those subtitles up
It's a
scripting,
bit
Bill.
like, would you go out and buy an old car?
Look at the future floor polish next to your lamp.
Putting them together,
What you got in the background? We're not bothered about you, Phil. What we got in the background? That's
Okay, let me mute that. What we got in the background? So again, we've got some what are they called? Oh Jesus, Alclads up here. Look,
Alclads.
And we've got
Model
obviously
Air.
a lot of Model Air. I think this is guns.
Tamiya, isn't it?
Citadel's there. Oh yeah, well, this is down here. This is all Tamiya. I think
they're the
these is
Tamiyas.
guns up here. Tamiya's all down in here.
Look, you're pointing it out. Just put your sound on me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Trouble
Where's
is,
the orange scissors?
Oh no, we're just talking about paint colours. So yes, we've got some future there. Look, some kicker. Yeah, look what the things I used. Look, no sanders. They weren't invented yet.
No wash.
No wash at that point. No, actually, the wash was out at that point.
Was it?
Yeah, the wash was already out at that point. We started doing the wash in my old house. So this is when I lived in Bridgewater for 6 months.
Right.
That's the broom cupboard.
I like the toolbox.
It is. That was the famous red toolbox, which made it right the way round as well. So yes, look, it just shows, that's only, 12, 13 years ago? Not aging well, am I? I look like a youth there.
You need to get out more. Get us a bit of fresh air.
Definitely thinner, you can see.
I was going to say, there's a lot less of you.
I didn't take up as much camera in those days. But if you notice, we are in square format still. We haven't gone into widescreen. I don't know when that happened.
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, God. Isn't that weird for you, watching yourself,
Oh,
younger
very
self
weird.
back?
Yes, it is. Definitely.
That's what you said last night, Matt, though. You don't like watching yourself back. I don't think any of us.
Is John gone again?
I'll tell you what. Hey, he's gone again, isn't it? It's not watching myself back. It's listening to myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't mind watching myself back. It's just, oh God, it's cringe-worthy listening to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes,
Hang on.
I don't know. We'll have to find out to see if I am the oldest one on there. I'm not sure. It's one of those things where, yeah, I think maybe consecutive, keep going. I don't know if I'm the oldest person done. If you think we started, the first one went up. I think it went up in around September 1999. Was the first video went up. So,
Phil,
Yeah.
just put that back on a minute. Your video.
Christ, do I have to?
Yeah, I want to look at some of it. What happened to the goldy-looking chain?
Have I got a chain on?
Probably somebody's just put.
I haven't got a chain on. I don't wear jewellery. I never have done.
What happened to the gold chain? Tony's put that up.
I've never had a gold chain. Not me.
No, I don't know. Perhaps he's seeing things.
Yes.
Unless he's on about something completely different.
Hey, look, 2 camera angles. That's how we do it. This one here, this sat on my shelf at the old house, and it was bleached on one side, not the other. I think I might show that. I don't know if I'm going to show it, am I? Don't know what we're going to do, actually. Don't even know what we're on for. So, oh, no, I'm colouring in the front end. But literally, it ended up, when we moved from this house here to the next one, this sat on the windowsill, and it bleached on one half of the model was grey, the other side was like a creamy coloured.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, yeah, no, we're tinting the front windscreen, I think, on this one.
Oh, right, okay.
See, there you go. That's enough of me. Anyway, Peter says, hi Phil, regarding your YouTube videos, I was wondering if anyone else has the idea of just how long it takes to shoot, edit, upload and check each video, because I know from experience it takes ages.
It does.
Yeah, what's it? I'll paraphrase there because it's what is going on about in HD and all the rest of it. Again, it's one of those things that I don't think anybody actually has a clue. Unless you do it, no one will ever know your pain. You know, and again, like a lot of people have said to me about, oh, you should upload in 4K and all the rest of it, which is great if you're using one camera because it's just a 4K stream, that's fine. But if you've got a computer and you're using 4 or 5 4K streams, the amount of data you take up, storage facilities, I have got, no joke, probably 50 hard drives with all of the footage on now and all the rest of it, and it's just, yeah. Why? I don't know. Might as well delete most of it and just keep the actual videos. But it is that thing about, you know, keeping all your stuff and everything else on these bloody hard drives absolutely everywhere. But it's what you do. But also, if you've got like 4 4K video streams and a couple of audio streams, you need a really beefy computer to be able to render it come the end. Because otherwise, if you don't have a computer, like, you know, like if me and Matt, for instance, I can do that perfectly. If it's just me and Matt using one camera and then the feed you can see there, it takes my computer, which is not a slow computer by any stretch of imagination, still around about 40 minutes to do an hour and 10-minute video to render it. But if I've done one of these and I'm using 4 cameras and all the rest of it, it's almost on a 1-to-1 ratio. So if it's like a half-hour video, it'll take half an hour to render it. Bearing in mind, it's a 3080 Ti graphics card in it. It's a 10900K processor with 64 gig RAM. It's not a slow computer. But if I try and do it on like this one that's in here, a slower computer, it might take 4 hours to do it, because it's one of those. So, you know, but the thing is about, obviously you could render it, but most people won't watch it at that bit rate anyway, because it's just too high to be streaming at that rate, and you don't get clarity wise much better because YouTube compresses everything into its own funny formats anyway. So it's not like it's a raw file and I watch it at home. They're always clearer than they actually are off of YouTube. So I don't see the point of spending all that extra time doing it in 4K when there's no benefit to it.
No.
So that's the thing from that one.
You'd probably need a full server set up just to store it and manage it, and yeah, it'd be massive investment, wouldn't it?
Well, you think me and Matt doing recording as the raw one actually is 38 gig an hour.
Yeah.
So if we do a show, it's 38 gig just with 2 of us on. So I'm recording the stream, obviously, it's like we do here, and then mine as well is just my audio channel into it. And it's 38 gig, all of it in. So it's not small files when you're doing it. It takes a bit. So you need a good computer to try and run these things, and plenty of RAM as well, because otherwise the system gets choked and doesn't like doing it. So yes, cool. But we've covered a lot of what about Peter's spoken about in there tonight anyway. Michael says, Phil and Matt, looking at your hobby benches, the organisers for the tools and the solvents neatly tucked in, where can we get hold of these? We used to sell them, but unfortunately the company used to make them went bust, or went out of business, I should say. So we can't do them anymore.
No.
So
no, we can't.
Grab them whilst you can, isn't it?
Well, you can't, because you can't get them.
Well, this is it. Yes. Literally, I know Matt's got a few there and the guys have, and I've got 2. That's it. We did sell them for a year or 2, but unfortunately the company decided, oh look, he's back again.
Help, mate.
Have you installed another ferret?
Why is it? The
It dropped out and then it came back on again. And Skype just, it won't let me do anything, Skype. So I've just rebooted the computer.
We should never do a video about technology again, because tonight it's just all gone wrong.
We have cursed it, haven't we?
We
Definitely.
have.
Yeah.
I hope the weather's better on flipping Sunday.
God.
It'll be fine.
Why, where are you going Sunday?
In there to help us.
Oh, for the auction.
The auction, isn't it?
Oh, you'll be fine. Did we mention the auction? Don't forget, everyone.
Hey. What auction?
What auction did you say, John? That's brilliant. Don't forget, everybody, Sunday night, 7:30. Forget that. Who put 7:30? Hold on, I'll just edit that.
Yeah, who put 7:30? 7.
That'll be me. Who did this? You guys were proofreading this last night when we did this.
I thought we were starting at 7:30.
Oh, did you change it?
I don't know.
Oh, right. I was going to say, I know I did it earlier. Right, back to the top. There we go. 7 o'clock. Look, it says 7:30 up there. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Just changing that, everyone, because we won't want to get that wrong. Starting at 7 o'clock, so we've got lots to get through. We've got the auction, so grab yourself a drink. We'll go through some adverts as well. Have a few giggles, and you can bid on some of this lot.
Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining evening.
An entertaining evening with us.
Of auction and adverts, shall we call it that?
Yeah, auction and advert night. We'll find the funniest adverts.
Yeah.
Don't forget the clocks change as well Sunday.
Yes, yes. So to be honest, if you haven't realised by 7 o'clock the following evening, you're in trouble. You've been out an hour.
Yeah.
Go back to GMT,
Yes,
don't
we
we?
go back to GMT time in the UK for our foreign friends. We get we lose an hour basically, don't we?
I've no idea.
Get an extra hour in bed.
Extra hour in bed.
We gain an hour.
Do we gain an hour?
Yeah, spring forward, fall back.
All right, so we fall back.
Yeah.
So we go back an hour. So we'll be an hour later than what you're reading us now. So yes.
Eat your heart out, Doc Brown.
Yes.
Ultimate Flies. We don't need a DeLorean.
No, that's it. So anyway, some great kits as you can see. Got lots of stuff rolling through here. Various ones from the team.
Yep.
So yes, lots of good stuff.
And also next Thursday.
Nice. Yes.
New format.
New format. So
Potential 1 week only.
well, we can give it a try and see how it goes. So podcast.
We should mix it up.
You can have us as a podcast. So
You're
no,
going to send an email instead.
yeah, we're gonna do this as a written format instead. That would work.
A letter. Post everyone a letter.
Yes. No, plan of action is we're going to do this as a heads down event. So that sounds quite good. I think we could use that name. It's going to be a heads down event. So instead of us talking here on camera, we're actually going to attempt to do some modelling and things as we talk.
Just think Saturday morning.
Yeah, you know the Saturday morning show, how we do it. So it's still a bit of a giggle and a laugh, and we're doing some stuff. The chances are, though, as we said, we won't be doing any airbrushing and the noisy stuff because that just gets nightmare. So compressors will be banned. So it'll just be doing normal modelling, chatting, talking to you guys and all the bits and pieces. And if we can find anything funny off the net, we can show that and bits and pieces as well. So if you want to catch up with all of those things, you can do that. Literally, follow along with us as we're doing our builds. Obviously, I'll zoom in on the guys and that. We can talk about what we're doing, the hows, the whys and the wheres and those types of things as well. So it's a bit more of an interactive show. We're planning on rolling these out perhaps 2 a month. So we'll do one on, one off. So we do a heads down event and then a talky one, heads down event, talky one, things like that, just to try and break it up a little bit and to give you guys something to watch instead of just listening to. So it'll be like a podcast, but you can watch it.
I suppose.
Visual podcast.
Visual podcast.
Yes. So that's the plan for anyway for that one as we make our way through. And I think that's probably us on time as well, isn't it?
Well, we're about 10 minutes over, but hey. Yeah. It's been entertaining watching John.
We have had an entertaining evening. Yes.
He's been like Mr. Ben.
Yes, that's it. I will try and find you, Mark, the Dam Busters ad. I know the one you mean. It's where he takes his mask off, isn't it? Yeah.
Hey, just the thing is, I forgot his name. He rung today. God, I made a proper senior moment.
He's of that age.
Rob McCluskey, is he still on chat? Rob, shout up if you're still on chat.
He was in a minute ago.
Just to say, he rung up today, but I'd left. He's there. Rob, you can't get the Asagawa Lancaster no more. I'm afraid you're going to have to either settle for the Airfix one or the old Revell one that Phil built. But as far as I know, the Asagawa one's not in production. Sorry about that.
To be honest, the Revell Lanc ain't bad either, because that's a new tool-ish. It's like 2000 odd, isn't it? But
new tool 20 years ago.
Well,
yeah, it's not.
In the great scheme of it, it's not the 70s version.
No, very true. But the Airfix one's pretty pretty up to par in it.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Definitely. Right, okie dokie then, guys. We'll call it there. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button and things and all the rest of it. It's funny because when we say that on the live shows, when we do the full ones, you can watch the counter suddenly go from like, you know, it's got like 10 likes and it suddenly shoots up to 100 odd and it's like, wow, that's quite clever. So go on then, hit that like button if you like this. If you didn't, don't.
hit the like button anyway.
Yeah, hit the like button anyway. See if we can get it over 100. Seeing as there's a what 400 of you watching, it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, we will call it there then, guys. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'll be with you tomorrow for the Roundup show. You've got the next part of this little guy where we talk about clip arts. So we talk about obviously removing them from the sprue, cleaning them up, masking them up, fitting them, and then obviously a little bit of scene filling on this one, as well as it is a standalone which went up a couple of days ago as well, which I don't think anyone noticed it went up there, but it did. It went over into the tutorial bits in there. So anyway, but this guy's pretty much looking the part now. Hopefully I'll get some paint on it tomorrow, which will be really nice. I've been put back a little bit with the old sub, but the next part of that will be up with you on Monday. There's a part all ready to go just before this, but it gives me a little bit of time for this to dry off so I can get some more filler onto it and whatnot. So we're all doing very well. Cool job. Right, all done, kids. This little lot will see you on Sunday night with me as well, so don't forget as well, we'll be with you on Sunday night. Remember, it's the GMT time now because we're out of summertime, so if you are wanting to watching from foreign shores, shall we say, you just have to allow for that one as well on there. Cool. Good job. Right, we are out of here then, gentlemen. Say goodbye. We are gone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hold on, where's the crowd cheer? That's the one. There we go.